Good evening, party people. Welcome to the Pine Room Studio Podcast, episode 147. We have two on my left, Jubber Delbrook, to my right, Jarrett Delbrook, and a guy by the name of Soup Campbell. I guess I'm gonna be honest with you, fellas. This is like being de-virginized all over again, like being touched
Welcome
for the
back.
first time.
Yes, welcome back,
yes,
Jeff.
Thank you very much.
It's been
Missed
a
you
while.
guys.
Yeah,
Yes.
Jeff has been. He's been.
The people have been wondering.
You bring the energy, Jeff. It's crucial.
Exploring vast oceans and wide caverns, and he finally made his way back here to the Pine Room
Were you
Studio.
the guy in high school or even into early college? Like when you showed up at a party, were you always bringing the energy?
I think that's probably fair because I was kind of a fucktard back in the day, so I was making sure that the party was going to be whether I was probably bringing the alcohol. It's exactly what I was doing. But yeah, we definitely we had our fun. But you know what? I appreciate it. It's really nice to see you guys. Sorry for the sabbatical. And
Hey.
I'm not even saying that it's going to improve anytime soon. But hey, I am here today.
We understand.
I am here today. But it's funny that you say that, Jub, on my sabbatical in the deep seas that I was looking at. I came across a fish by the name of a black sea devil.
I've seen that.
Dude.
Is that?
Oh, yeah,
Dude.
yeah.
That's so funny. That's a really good bridge jumper because I was actually, I don't even know what it was the other day. I came across it. And I was thinking to myself, man, oh man, first and foremost, how fucking ugly that goddamn fish was. And if I came nose to nose, I'd probably shit myself.
Yeah, that's why
It's from
he's down in
Nemo,
the
right?
dark.
Was that a real thing that
Yeah,
he came
so-
up from the ocean?
Yeah,
That's what it said,
and
yeah.
I don't think they said it was anything from diseases to being chased by a predator to.
What is chasing that?
That's what I'm saying.
There's
too.
no way something eats that. How
Yeah.
big are they,
It
John?
I
is-
mean, look at that thing.
It is. It's not huge. It's not huge.
No,
I don't
actually, it's
think.
really not that big.
It's like the size of a. I guess.
I just saw something recently about a bird that had something about this name. That's what I thought you were talking about.
Yeah,
not
it's like
the
the
fish.
size of a pickle jar. It's kind of.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah.
I still came nose to nose, man. That thing is ugly.
Job, that's what's from Nemo, right?
Yeah, it's technically it's called an anglerfish, and they use the little light above their head to lure it because they live way down at the bottom of the ocean where you can't see anything. So when a little light or when a fish sees that little light down in the bottom of the ocean, they swim towards the light, and big guy he gulps.
Why did it come up to the surface?
They
you
said it was anything from disease to being chased by an animal to being at the end of its lifetime. So it just kind of swam up.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you guys think, though, really, with that being said? Because obviously I've never even heard of that, and obviously it's coming out of the deep blue sea. Like, how much really life that we have no idea about at the bottom of the ocean?
It will never in our lifetime be even close to for them finding all of it.
I can't think so,
It's
right?
it's funny that you say that because I was actually looking at, for whatever reason, I don't even know why. I was looking at the Marianas Trench. Is that what it's called? The Mariana?
Yeah, that's the
Deepest part of the ocean today. I have no idea why I looked it up.
Another good bridge, but go ahead.
But I was looking, I was like, I can't imagine the shit that's at the bottom of that we don't even know. Like at the deepest, darkest corners. Like how the hell, like,
Job, is it
will we
still
ever
true?
find?
So
Will we
what-
find any of
what-
them?
70%, right?
It's 91%.
91% of the ocean we've never discovered.
Well, no, 91%
scary,
of
too.
ocean species have yet to be classified.
That is wild.
Yeah.
I guess what would be your job title if for that? Is that a what do they call the people that what's the degree up at West Liberty? Don't they have some kind
A
of
zoologist?
Yeah, zoologist
would
maybe?
it, no, maybe probably not. Would it be more I always mess up that word. Aquatic.
Dude.
I don't know what
That's a
that.
good question. I don't know what you would.
Aquologist? No, it says a taxonomist or a field biologist are the people that designate species.
Dude, can you imagine the type of things we don't know that are down there?
Oh man,
And imagine how big they are.
I would agree with that too. Yeah.
A
Respect
marine
the
biologist or an
That's it, marine biologist.
oceanographer. There you go.
Job, what's the biggest thing that we've found so far in the ocean?
Largest thing, probably blue whale, but
Does that-
yeah, I would say blue whale's the largest. Balanoptermusculus is the
Oh wow.
blue whale,
Good
largest creature that exists on our planet. So that's pretty cool.
Well, Jeff, you know that they're saying that. Now, are the videos real or not? I don't know, but there's been multiple accounts.
Bigfoot.
No, of extraterrestrials like coming from the water,
Yeah, it's called
Really?
which that is crazy. When they come, like people are saying they've seen them go up, move in motions that airplanes and drones can't move, and then go right back down.
Yeah, so it's called transmedium. I can't remember the actual term, but it's called transmedium locomotion, where they're moving from air to sea without any change in between, so that you can go 70 miles per hour in the air and then drop down and go 70 miles per hour underneath the ocean.
It's insane.
And they're saying that because there's a famous, not tic-tac incident where this guy's name is Commander David Fravor. He was a commander for the world famous Black Aces. They're a jet fighter squadron in the Navy, and they actually recorded what they call the tic-tac incident, and I'll play this just for you guys so you can see this. So they were off the coast of, I think, San Diego, and they're flying around, and they see or somebody on above the commanding officer, somebody that was designating what their flight patterns would be, said that they're not doing any training today because they have a real world vector out off the coast of San Diego, and real world vector means there's something out there that they need to designate. And normally what that'd be is like drug runners, because drug runners coming up from Mexico into California and above. So they go out to film or to go out to intersect whatever this thing is, and Commander David Fravor, who was the commanding officer of the fighter squadron, sees what he called a tic-tac, and it was a tic-tac shaped object about the size of it was like 40 foot long, I think, and it was hovering over the surface of the water over top of this disturbance in the water, which was like the size of a 747, and he said it was just bouncing around over top of this thing that was in the water, and he's going in a circle around it, and then he drops his nose and he starts circling down to go meet this thing at the surface of the water. And as he goes down, the thing kind of turns in one motion and starts mirroring him as he's coming down towards the surface of the water. So then he cuts across the circle to go meet it, and as he goes to meet it, it just blinks and it's gone. And then he gets a radio transmission. So this is the actual video. I'm not playing it on the podcast, but this is what he's picking up on radar, and this is what they pick up on the FLIR camera, which is a forward-looking infrared radar, this is all black and white, and it's picking up heat signatures. So this is a heat signature of what they were looking at. It was tic-tac shape. So it blows past him, and he can't see it, and he doesn't know where it went. And then he gets a radio commission from, I think, the Nimitz, which was a ship, and he says, "Sir, you're not going to believe this, but that thing is back at your cap point." And the cap point is where they originally took off from. So then they go back to the cap point, and they don't find it, and it's gone. But then this is taken from the next pilot that goes out to launch after that crew had got in, and they find it and they film it. And then you see at the very end of this video, it takes off to the left and goes out of frame, and they say it's going faster than anything we have in our inventory.
That's wild.
Isn't that awesome?
And here's the deal. I've said this all along. I'm very cynical. My brain does not allow me to go anywhere. I'm not a creative guy. But that's wild.
Isn't that insane,
honestly,
dude?
It's really,
them
really
saying
wild.
that it goes faster than anything we have in our inventory is absolutely insane.
He said it went from it went as I think it was a distance of 60 miles in 30 seconds.
That's insane.
They said they would. They said that
seconds.
before they went out on mission, whatever they call them, before they went out and do what they do, their operations off the coast. People that have been running the battleships and I think it's the USS Nimitz, I think it was. They had been picking these things up off the coast, and they would drop from 80,000 feet down to 20,000 feet, mill around at the surface, and then go back up to 80,000 feet. And if you don't know, 80,000 feet is space.
Oh, wow.
Do you
And
think
they
he's
said
just
they-
lying?
No,
he said-
bro.
Honestly,
No,
that's
they
where
are
my
not.
brain
Like,
goes, Jared.
no.
That's
He's
where
a
my brain
commanding
goes.
officer
They're
of the
not
military.
lying. They are not lying, bro. They have no reason to lie. Just so people like us can talk about it. That's not why they.
And this was 15 years ago. Another incident was taken, I can't remember exactly where, but it was
I just don't know, Jeff.
he was a fighter pilot named Ryan Graves. They had official U.S. court hearings, and Commander David Fravor gave a statement. It was like 15 minutes long. He gives a statement of exactly what happens, what I just said, in a congressional hearing, which is insane. But there's another, Ryan Graves. He's another fighter pilot for, I think, the Navy, maybe the Air Force. I can't remember which one. But they're flying an operation, and he said that he was flying with one of his other wingmen, and he went right past one of them, and it was a sphere, like a translucent sphere with an opaque cube in the middle of it, and they blew past it, and then it went away.
Jeff, what do you think's more concerning? That whoever is out there, name the planet or universe, wherever they're from, what's more concerning? That they found us and they can toy with us, or that we haven't found anything yet? Or if we have, like, the first one, that they can just toy with us whenever.
But here's my question. Like, obviously they got to be from the beginning of time too, right?
Yes.
So my question is, how
did they advance so fast?
Well, that, and also, like, there should be black and white information by now.
Yeah.
That's like, how has there not been any confirmed?
There are these
black and white information.
I've
been
know.
While we were sitting here, I've been like looking up. Has the government said aliens exist? Is there life on other planets? Like anything, it says no. The government has not confirmed aliens exist. The Pentagon, NASA, and White House have all stated they have no evidence that unexplained objects are extraterrestrial.
Because I believe that the government, and Joe Rogan actually asked Trump about this when he had him on his podcast, and Trump kind of danced around the question and didn't answer it fully. But there's a man named Lou Elizondo who was formerly in the CIA, and he works for a company called ATIP now, which is Advanced something Aerospace, I don't know. But it's or AMAF, or not AMAF, some aerospace program, and he claims that the government, for certain, 100% certain, has physical and video evidence of extraterrestrial.
Oh, I believe it.
So two things then. Then why are they able to talk about, this guy's able to, at his level, is able to talk about what you just got done showing, but if there's more information, why isn't it disclosed? Or are they trying to protect us?
I would hope to say protect us.
So a lot of people say, or at least people that posturize about why the government isn't giving away this information, is because, number one, people would probably lose their minds. So we would probably get if the world all of a sudden knew that we were no longer alone, that there was a species or some sort of alien civilization that has equipment and technology far superseding what we have in our inventory, people would freak out and believe that there's no point in the world's going to go to hell. They're going to destroy us all. So what's the point? So it could throw people into chaos. And then the third is potentially it's either a foreign threat. So it's somebody in our world, Russia, China, North Korea, or they don't want to give out what information they have just in case another nation doesn't have this information about these things. So they don't want to put potentially that on the radar for other nations. And
so I think right now, if I'm fair to say, it's probably a little bit of split in this room. You're a little bit kind of cynical.
Yes.
I'm a little cynical. You guys are probably bigger believers. Here's my next question for the believers. Why, if you got to put your mind in an alien now, why haven't they showed themselves? Like, what would be the purpose of their end on why, if they could take over and they have all this technology and they could come down and wipe us out and run our world and do whatever they wanted to in the homeland, why hasn't that transpired?
To be completely honest with you, I don't think there's anything here for them. Like, I don't know what we would have that could benefit them if they found us this
McDonald's?
quick. You know what I mean?
They
supersize that.
Because here's my thing. Here's my thing. If we all are from the beginning of time, what is saying that our species, we're called humans, right? Let's say there's thousands and millions of other species out there across this massive universe. What's saying that we haven't done this already and we blew ourselves up once? And then, now we're back to restart. Like, we humans might have already had all this technology.
Well, then there's also the thought that we are so far unadvanced than any other civilization.
Yeah, they might be wasting their time here with us.
That's a good point.
They could look at these like, hey, look at these like monkeys they're just beating each other up and blowing each other up. We don't want them to. They're not allowed in our civilization because they're so. I mean, that's why do we not put ants in government? Because they're not. They don't offer enough value. So I think, or there's also, you and I think of an alien as something with 2 legs, maybe 6 arms, and maybe 4 legs and a head. But aliens could be something that we have no way of idealizing that in our brain. Like they could be a totally different physical form that we have no ability to comprehend inside of our heads, which is.
So do you think that there's actually human life? That's a strong word. Do you think there's actually people that are human, that are aliens, that they're here and they're spying us right now?
How can we say no? Like that's like what?
There's a lot of weirdos out there.
Yeah, how are we allowed to say no?
Are there aliens that have like
portrayed
assimilated into the society?
as the human body right now?
Yeah, I mean I could see
There's a lot of people on the earth, so maybe. I mean,
yeah.
It does. Here's the deal. I can't say that it doesn't intrigue me, because it does. I just, unfortunately, once again, my brain can't go there, because I know you're showing me what you're showing me and all that stuff. I just think I'm just I got to visualize. I got to wrap my head around it to be able to have any sense of.
You know what's crazy about that is like, I don't even know if I'm allowed to believe in this with like my religion, but the religion I believe in, like I'm a strong Catholic, like the God that I was taught and learned to believe in, how like it's very, I feel like, possible for him to create so many different species.
I mean, that's a good point.
Why would, like, you know what I mean? And we don't have to be the only ones. I think it's crazy.
Well, I definitely believe that there's some kind of life on a planet somewhere else for sure. That to me intrigues me.
How about this?
How vast the universe is.
Yeah.
And I wrote a blog post about this months and months and months ago about how big the universe is, and I'll pull it up here so I can read it again. But they found an asteroid they landed. It was an 11-year project. I can't remember. I think it was Eru or something. It was the asteroid was called Eru, RRRU. I think I could be wrong on that. EMMU or something. It started with an E and ended with a U. Anyway, they landed on this asteroid or comet or whatever it was. They scooped some dirt up and then brought it back to the Earth. And they said it had amino acids in it, partial structures of genetic code, and other like life-forming building blocks on this thing, so they could possibly, prove that there's some sort of.
You know what I saw recently? This is sick too. We can change the subject after this. There was a guy talking on Rogan that said, I think he's an aerospace engineer, maybe. I can't remember. He said it's going to be possible for us to move fast enough to where we can get to that light speed, like close, like one day, where that everyone talks about this light speed era. He said the issue is that we're going to be able to move fast enough to go somewhere, to get somewhere, but the way that time works with all the light speed stuff is that, yeah, we'll get there super fast, but 4 million years are going to pass on Earth.
That's crazy.
Wow. So they're not going to be able, by the time they get the message back to us with how time works, is like, yeah, you'll be, let's say you're 55 right now, you'll be able to get there, you'll be 55 in a month. But the 4 million years are going to pass back here on Earth.
That to me is the craziest. I can't even.
Insane.
I can't wrap my head.
They said they're going to be able to get there, but they can't figure out how they're going to be able to get the message back.
I can't wrap my head around
how
it.
smart people are.
That's insane, dude.
I mean, honestly, that stuff. And I know we're going to change the subject, but it's kind of the same thing. Just real quick, what about those two people that are still up in space after 8 months? You guys remember that?
Are they still up there?
They're still up. They did an interview the other day on national news. And I guess there's a lot of people, obviously the true conspiracy theories and all that stuff, that this is all ploy and that the government's doing them wrong and NASA's doing them wrong. So I think it was more of a customer service to let them know that they're doing okay and that they don't feel let down by any. I still don't understand the concept of why they're still there. But I guess my question to you guys is, can you imagine? So here's the deal. If there is, quote unquote, this extra whatever you call that, wouldn't you think that they would, being up there for 8 months, that they would come across something funky?
Dude.
I agree. Like, you're just, what are you doing up there? You're just looking out the window?
And then I got a dirty question.
Here might be the reason why. So I wrote this in a blog back in July. Unlike anything comprehensible by the human mind, there is no scale of the universe, only what we can see. The observable universe is estimated to be 92 to 94 billion light years in diameter, and the reason that it's measured in light years and not something smaller like miles is that astronomers found rather quickly that the number becomes far too large far too quickly. For reference, 1 light year is 6 trillion miles. So that's 6 with 12 zeros after it. So you do the math. Not to mention the volume of the observable universe is 410 nonillion light years, which is 41 with 31 zeros after it. And saying that this is just what we can see. What we can't see, according to scientific estimates, puts the unobservable universe at about 23 trillion light years across, or 15 million times the volume of what we can currently observe. So in layman's terms, we can see, so for as far as we can see, which is 92 to 94 billion light years in diameter, we can only see 0.4% of the universe.
That's wild.
Honestly,
it's just absolutely. And I guess it goes back to the smartness of people. Like, how do people even know that that's even a possibility?
Isn't it crazy? There's kids 10 years younger than us, you know what I mean, that are now studying this,
which is absurd,
and they're freakishly smart, and that's going to be what they'll do for the next 60 years.
And actually more impressive is that somebody figured this out. So the people that actually were able to come up with this content in order for somebody to study it is absolutely crazy.
There's a kid that went to Central that I think he lives in Oregon now. He's an engineer. What he'll do for the next 60 years, the company he works for right now, his job is to find life form on other planets that humans could live off of.
Oh wow,
that's his job.
What a job.
If he works there for the rest of his life,
I wonder what the salary is for something like that.
Dude, I can't even imagine.
All right, so I got to ask the dirty question, and unfortunately I got to show Doyle's orneriness.
I got a feeling that I know what you're gonna say.
There's a man and a female. Have they had sex
in space?
I'm saying, as in, these people have been up there for 8 months. They're not husband and wife.
I think so.
I'm on that line.
So. No, I'm gonna give them credit and say no, they haven't. They're up there working.
I don't know if they're married in real, like, as in down, whatever the case might be. But
I think you'd get pretty bored up there.
I mean, what else? I mean, there's not a lot to do.
Dude, you wanna know why I don't think they have? Because if they don't know how long they're gonna be up there, right?
I don't think they do. No.
There's no way they take a risk of her getting pregnant on that.
Well,
know what I mean? They're too smart. They're too smart to.
That's a good. Actually, Suki, that's a really. I never thought about that. I'm not sure though.
In space?
Well, I'm not sure if she's of childbearing age either.
Oh.
How old is she?
The way that she.
Is she older?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay.
She's.
So wait, think about. So if the baby is born in space,
it'd be the first extraterrestrial baby ever born.
Yeah. Would it be? Where would his hometown be?
Wow.
It wouldn't be an Earthen baby.
Yeah. What do you put on birth certificate? That's a good
question.
question.
That baby's literally born in space. You'd have to the latitude and you would have to give it like a right, Jub?
I don't know. The baby would just be not of planet Earth. It just
I guess
it'd be the first. It'd be an alien baby.
And actually, I'm going to take this a step further with science, and the natural progression of giving birth is all very much pressure and gradient. And I would imagine space has got to screw that up a little bit.
That's what I'm saying. Like, could you even have a baby up there?
Can
you conceive a baby?
Yeah, I'll be honest,
can you get pregnant in space because
what if you can have more babies? Like, she's like a dog. Yeah. She has like 7 babies.
Yeah.
I just said, this is funny. We're talking about this 27 minutes ago. It says that the NASA's 2 stuck astronauts may return to Earth sooner under new plan.
There you go, Jeff. They're coming back.
They're coming back. Thank God. And she comes back with a belly
bump.
They
may come home in mid-March instead of late March or April.
All right. Well, guys, I got a question for you, specifically Jeff, because I asked you Jeff and Soup because we haven't talked about this since Jarrett and I have on the radio, but it's been a week now, or weekend has passed since the Super Bowl, and I want to get both of your guys' opinions on exactly what you thought about the Super Bowl. So I'm going to start with, because I haven't seen Jeff in a while, we're going to start with him.
I really thought that Philadelphia had a fighter's chance, but in my heart of hearts, I thought Kansas City was Kansas City, so I didn't think that they would win. That's number one. Never in my lifetime, I'm a gambling man, I would have ever thought that the end result would have been that kind of ass beating. I tell you, I was kind of shell-shocked. I really was. Very surprised. We're a very big Super Bowl family. Like, we've had a tradition ever since. I mean, my dad, when I was still living in my home, my dad always housed the Super Bowl, and we've just carried on the tradition with him being passed. Like, it's a fun day for us. All kinds of food. We do. We put money together for now that there's prop bets and you can do that shit. But we also create like a 20 questionnaire that my brother-in-law comes up with that we all put $5 in, and it's like commercial based
Oh,
and all that
cool.
kind of stuff. So the Super Bowl has always been a big day in my family, so I always really, really enjoy it, and it was a great day. Minus that my two great nieces were there, and they're very, very young. I think, one's 3 and the other one is getting ready to turn a year. And my wiener dogs are just fucking brutal. So I was on like pins and needles the whole day because I was concerned that they were gonna rip.
The mafia was going to go.
The mafia was gonna go. So it was a little bit tense that way. But I guess I'll take it one step further. Unless if you were gonna ask about a job, I'll let you answer first, and we'll talk about the halftime.
Yeah, go ahead, Sue.
Well, I mean, we can just talk. Like, it's simple as this. I thought Mahomes was the GOAT, and I thought he was gonna solidify it there. But what Brady did over his career just shows how much more impressive what Mahomes did. Like, if Brady's in that situation when Mahomes was down 24, I still thought he wasn't out of it. But that's like a game that Brady comes back and makes it close. I saw a stat that Brady was leading in all 10 of his Super Bowls at one point in the fourth quarter. Brady went 7-3 in his Super Bowls.
Well, not to contradict you, remember they were down 28-3 against Atlanta.
That's what I'm saying, and
then he came back
exactly,
and won.
which was why I was waiting on Mahomes to do it. I was like, this is a game.
That makes sense.
This is a game. If he's going to solidify or get in that conversation, this is probably one he needs. And here's the thing: he's so young still, and he has all of his 30s. But Brady went to 3 Super Bowls when he was in his 40s. Like, I want to root so bad for Mahomes. Like you said, I knew the Eagles had a chance. I didn't think there was any way they won that way. And to talk about betting, can you imagine if the line was like, because the Eagles just won by 18, can you imagine if it was like Eagles minus 9.5 to start the game?
Oh,
How many people would have taken the Chiefs at +9 and
Without
got
a
smoked?
I bet the Chiefs 3 times.
Yeah.
When I bet them before the game, bet them twice during the game because I thought there was no way that they were losing that
Facts.
game. I just
Me
had
too.
I don't know. I just had that feeling that there was like destiny. They'd win 3 in a row, and
Yeah.
the script was setting up perfect. They'd have a big halftime
Yep.
deficit. They'd come back, win. Mahomes would be considered the GOAT.
Yeah.
And I did not have that. That didn't turn out.
Two things. What was the final score again?
40 to 22.
22, yeah.
Okay, so there was did you guys see the bettor out there that bet 3 extra points for Kansas City?
What?
And they went for 2 on all 3.
Oh,
That's number 1.
I didn't even know you could bet that.
I didn't know that either, to be honest. And then the Doyles did a Super Bowl square combo at the Vets. We were on the last touchdown, Kansas City. If they don't get that, we had 0-0. If they don't get that
2-point
two
conversion.
point with Hawkins, we win frontwards and backwards at $5,000.
Oh my god.
And as soon as the ball was released, Luke yells, he overthrew him. If it's anybody else but D-Hop, who's got the hands of the size of my feet.
Yeah.
That
was an unbelievable catch.
It was an unbelievable catch. Yes.
Yeah. Kendrick, I'm a huge rap guy and I love his music. To me, it felt like someone choreographed everything that has never done it before. Like, I felt like they could have done so much cooler stuff. It was a little strange to me. I love Kendrick's music. I think there was a couple situations that were good, but the rest of it was kind of like, I don't know. I might sound like a boomer here, but just put country or rock out there and let them and go put on a rock concert at a halftime show. Like, Cooley asked us, he sent us a text and said, please somebody rip the halftime performance for me. That's what Cooley said.
I'll be interested to see what he won, like what he said. I didn't like it either. I feel like it didn't, everybody, cater to everybody, but it seemed like he didn't even play all of his good songs, I feel like. I mean, he played a couple, and then he obviously played the Drake diss, which everybody wanted to hear, which I still think is just weird that's like he's obsessing still over Drake, that everybody wants him to play the song. I don't know. I thought it was terrible. I thought, to me, honestly, from the halftime show, the commercials, the game itself, the worst Super Bowl that I've seen for sure.
statement.
Yeah, the
It's a
commercials.
very, very-
Was no one ready to spend money this year? There was like no commercials.
And I think at the end of the day, that has always been, once again, a highlight for the household, and that's fun for people that's not big football fans. I just feel like the last probably 10 to 12 years, in my opinion, the commercial value has truly went downhill.
How many times did we see Matthew McConaughey for the love of God.
How much money is that dude making?
I mean,
how much
he
money
had to
is
be in.
making?
I got to look up how many he
Well,
was
Jeff,
in.
here's the other thing too. I saw that stat come up on the screen that the average cost for a Super Bowl commercial was $8 million.
Which is
so if you're
absurd, too.
even if you're a Fortune 500 company and you have a marketing budget, and they say, hey, you can come and spend. Let's say the average cost is $8 million. So let's say your commercial is going to be $5.5 million. You're going to reach 120 million people with this commercial. What's the ROI look like for $5 million? I mean,
Honestly,
are you actually, is your commercial going to make people laugh and buy your product? Is your commercial going to make you be interested and buy the product? Or are people just going to forget about the commercial for $5 million?
It's all valid
Is it
points,
going to
though.
work? Or can you go spend $100,000 and put your ad up for 30 seconds in New York where there's a proven ROI? You know what I mean?
It's a really good point. And actually, there were so many things that I've never even heard of.
Yes.
That was it, like the products or services that like literally was the first time it's ever fallen on my eyes or ears. And I'm also going to preface that I'm actually a very big, believe it or not, I'm a very big rap guy. I grew up on rap. I'm probably definitely way more old school rap, the Biggie, the Tupac, and all that happy horse shit. I've come with having a younger son that it's not that I dislike the new age rap. It just, I can't relate to it a lot.
Yeah.
Not that I could relate to the Biggie. I wasn't going out there and shooting people up and stuff. I'm not saying that at all.
Hey, Jeff used to drive like a lowrider caddy.
That's exactly
he used
right.
to drive around.
We used to circle Garden Park and bump.
Yeah.
But I guess whoever said it over here, like it should be something that I know it's hard to tailor to everybody's lives, and I get that. And let's be honest, hip hop is probably, I don't know what would be bigger right now. I don't know if hip hop or country. I don't know. I don't think you could probably find a happy middle, but I'm not sure Kendrick is the happy middle.
I agree. I used to hate rap. As I've gotten older, I actually enjoy it quite a bit, like old school rap. I really do. I love Biggie. I love Tupac. I even new age stuff like Big X a Plug, Big 30. When Jarrett plays that stuff, I actually don't mind it. And even people like Kanye, I listen to a few of his songs, and I really, generally, I do not dislike rap like I used to, but I just don't think I don't think that is a Super Bowl artist. If you go, you got to really know that stuff, to me at least, and I feel like his type of rap is super.
No, exactly, because
it's super.
Kendrick,
niche.
I'm a huge fan of Kendrick. Our buddy Earl put me on him when we were freshmen in college. I listen to him all the time, and I really, really like his music. But it's a halftime show, not a halftime concert.
Right.
That's a great point.
And
That's
they
a really good
and
point.
Kendrick, dude, if we had an hour to go to a Kendrick concert, it'd be unbelievable.
Right.
He had 20 minutes to put on a show, and he tried to rap the whole show.
Yeah.
Which is like, there's some cool dancing, and like I said, there's some really cool stuff, but it would have been better if he rapped for 2 minutes and they danced for a minute to keep people's attention.
Yeah, and how many football fans that are there? I would like to know the median age for who is there, which I'm assuming it was not. The median age is not young. I'd imagine.
I'd say mid-30s. Yeah,
I'd say
low
you're
40s.
you're a little older, and I would say that a lot of people there probably are out of the ballpark of Kendrick's music.
Yeah.
I think that we're looking at the Katy Perrys of the world.
But I mean, here's the other thing too, Jub. It's something like Jaguar just did this too. Jaguar put out a commercial that had everyone talking about it, right? Yeah, did Kendrick's performance maybe stink? The entire world is talking about
That's a
Kendrick
good
right
point.
now.
Well,
Yeah,
and-
it's a
So
really
did he
good
do
point.
his job?
Yeah, he did do his job.
Know what I mean?
Well, what do they say? Good pub and bad pub. It doesn't matter, right?
And I think for people in my age, I think people really liked it. I think people really liked it in my age bracket. I think it was a hit for a lot of people. Just I don't know. It didn't feel to me. It was almost a little awkward. It felt awkward. It didn't feel like it was the place for a rap like that. I don't know. Maybe.
How about this?
I don't know.
You want to find out if it worked or not? Spotify said on Monday, Lamar's performance caused his songs to spike in streams in the hours following his Super Bowl performance. His entire catalog spiked 175%.
Well, that's funny you
wild.
say that, Soup, because I just looked up because I wanted to see the difference between Drake and Kendrick's monthly listeners on Spotify. And I think before the Super Bowl, Kendrick didn't have as many as Drake did. Drake has 75.2 million monthly listeners on Spotify. Kendrick now has 88.9 million. So
insane.
almost over 10 million more than Drake does. So I guess it did work. And I'm a Drake guy, but I mean, I don't mind Kendrick. To me, I thought it should have been Lil Wayne. I thought Lil Wayne would have been
made sense.
perfect
Yeah, would've been
because
awesome,
Lil Wayne's
yeah.
from New Orleans.
Yeah,
People
that would've
busted
been
balls
The
on that.
Super Bowl is in New Orleans. More people, I feel like,
That would have been cool.
like
That would've been really cool.
Lil Wayne. I think Lil Wayne was actually upset that he
Or
wasn't
bring him
picked.
out.
Yeah.
Kendrick could have brought him out.
Yeah,
They had
at least
music
bring him
together.
out. I was kind of upset by that. It would have been awesome. It would have been perfect.
And even if you don't like Lil Wayne, you probably everybody knows at
Yes.
least a Lil Wayne.
He's probably more old school. Though,
yeah,
right?
it caters
at the end of the
to because I know a lot of young people still like Lil Wayne. The older generation knows Lil Wayne. It would have been perfect.
That'd been awesome.
Hannah would leave me in a heartbeat for Lil Wayne. It wouldn't even be close. It wouldn't even be close.
That'd be an honor, Joe.
She would have been doing backflips if he came out. But I think that. Oh, in saying that, I think it was better than last year's Usher performance. I think Usher last year was a literal steaming pile of shit. I hated that concert last year.
I can't even remember him.
I hated that.
Well, 3 things. I need to write them down before I forget.
Not as good as Katy Perry though,
She's a legend.
or CeeLo Green.
Well, 2 things. Just to tell you how much of a dumbass I am. I'm watching the performance, and I'm going, man, that chick looks like Serena Williams.
I said the same thing.
And I had no idea till the next day that it was Serena Williams.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, she looks really familiar to me. And people were really giving her shit for doing it too, because she was doing what do they call
the
that?
Crip Walk.
Crip walk, yes. And they were just talking how classless that
Yeah.
was, blah blah blah. This and
Do you
that.
know why she was out there?
I guess it's Drake's old lady
Old
friend.
lady friend, yeah.
So second part of that is, do you know what the number 1 Super Bowl performance of all time was?
Michael Jackson.
Nope.
Was it his? Mm-mm. Wait,
Was
what's it
it
ranked off of?
Viewers.
Was
Because
it
let's be
Ja-
honest, there's a lot of people that don't watch the Super Bowl and just turn it on for the halftime show.
Oh, okay.
Janet Jackson.
Nope.
Katy Perry.
I was actually kind of surprised.
Was it
by
country?
this. No.
Was it rock?
Beatles.
Nope.
It was rap.
Mm-hmm.
Ice Cube. Was he done?
Did
is he
Biggie
done?
do a Super Bowl?
No.
I feel like it's recent. Is it
Don't
recent?
tell us.
I can't
It has
remember
to
the
be
year.
It was a rapper, and it was the number 1 performance of all time.
Viewership.
Did Eminem do one?
He did.
But it wasn't him.
Nope. Well, he could have been a part of it. Now that I'm
Okay, but
thinking
he
about
wasn't the main, like,
No.
the face.
Dr. Dre.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember.
Dre.
Yeah, that was a few years ago. I
I
think.
can't remember how long ago.
Yeah, let me look it up.
Was that any good? Do you remember that?
I don't vividly remember, but I'm definitely. I mean, that's more my speed
Dr.
from a stand.
Dre.
Dr.
Wow.
Dre and all that stuff.
Jeff, did you feel like, and because you just got done saying that, the Super Bowl was a big thing for your family, did you feel at all like there wasn't as much? Well, 2 things. Did you feel like this was as equal in build up as the other Super Bowls?
I know where you're going with that. Do I feel like back in the day that it was hyped up more? Yes.
Because I felt like, number one, I was asleep within 4 minutes of the first quarter. I was snoring on the couch. But I felt like when I was a kid, the Super Bowl, when it was in range, everybody was buzzing. The day of, we deep fried like a turkey in the front yard, and that was when the Steelers were in the Super Bowl. But even then, we would have people over. My dad would be at the house. We'd have everybody at the house. We'd be getting ready to party. And this year, it just kind of felt like nothing.
You got to think about the teams that were playing too. Kansas City's even though it is Mahomes, they're a small market for Kansas City, and the Eagles, like, no one really likes the Eagles unless you're from Philly. So if there was 2 bigger teams that we were kind of rallied around, you would have felt a lot more like in the air on the social media.
I agree.
On the,
2 teams that pretty much everybody hates if you're not from
That's a
the
good point.
cities.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
now, like, if a team like if the Commanders make it,
That would have been
like,
awesome.
you would have seen a ridiculous amount of hype and media, like, going after the young rookie quarterback. But no, Job, I agree. I felt the same way. I didn't feel any, like, lead up to it, which was
It's a
weird.
good point, and I do think that's kind of died off, and I don't know why though. I agree with your answer. I think media definitely drives some of that in big market teams versus small market teams. It's so funny. I know I've shared the story, but just a refresher. I'll never forget the day. You'll appreciate this. I was leaving for Connecticut to go away for 3 weeks when I got a drug rep job, and I was going away for 3 weeks for training. And I pulled out of my driveway, and I see you guys over there, your front. Because I mean, obviously we were.
You left on Super Bowl Sunday?
We've always been close, but obviously at that time in our life, I wasn't coming over and hanging out with your dad and this and that. And I'm pulling out, and you guys have the your front yard painted. There, you guys have a shit ton of people over there. I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous as fuck because at the end of the day, if you don't pass those tests, they send your ass home. So I was already tight as fuck. This and that, but I remember pulling out like it was yesterday. Pulling out. I'm nervous as hell. You guys are over there having a good old.
Were
time.
you getting on a plane on Super Bowl Sunday?
Super Bowl Sunday. Yeah.
We had my dad painted the
It was
front yard.
unbelievable.
And our front yard's probably like I don't know, maybe 50, probably 100 feet long, maybe
30 yards,
maybe 30 yards, probably about 30 yards. And he had
It was unreal.
the entire
It was
front yard
unreal.
was painted like a football field and had the Steeler logo
Wow.
in midfield. And we had like, I don't know, probably every hash mark was like a
5 10
foot or something.
Yeah.
And yeah, we brought a big turkey fryer out and
Turkey.
it ended up snowing
Oh,
the Super Bowl Sunday. It ended up snowing, and my dad got this massive tarp the entire front yard, and then like when it was game day, pulled the tarp off, and it was
a full
completely.
field.
we have an
Wow.
unbelievable picture. Of
Yeah,
that
we.
whole-
What?
You know what? I mean, maybe
Where's
I'll
the
try
picture?
We'll find it.
I'll try to clip this maybe, and I'll make a reel out of it
Yeah,
and put the
that's
picture
sick.
in
Yeah.
the.
It was
Dude, I
unreal.
want that picture
was
in
awesome.
my house.
Yeah.
It was the coolest thing, and we were all dressed up in our
Yeah.
Steeler gear. That was when my dad was a big Steeler fan.
Was it the one we won or the most recent one we lost against the
No.
Packers?
No, that was the one we won against the Cardinals, I
Sweet.
believe. Yeah.
Yes, I
yeah,
think so.
and the turkey was frozen, and they put the turkey in the.
That's
in
right,
the
and almost like blew
and it
up,
like
right?
almost blew up and it boiled over, and we had grease in our front yard for like a week, and our dog would just go out and stand in the front yard for hours and lick the oil off the ground.
Yeah,
But
that was a
fun
hell of a time. That
True
was a-
Mark Delbrook fashion.
Yes,
Wow.
that was
True Mark
Of
Delbrook
course,
fashion,
it was like
without a doubt.
it was like I remember he was like, we gotta get the news up here to see this.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, that was a good time. That was Super Bowl what? That had been Super Bowl.
Oh God.
Was that 2009?
We won 05 and 07.
So that would have been 2007, I think.
That's crazy too. And
Now I
last
gotta look
question
that
for
up.
you guys, because since we were talking about Drake and Kendrick, what is the beef?
So
Where's the beef?
it basically
where is
was
the beef,
it was
Jubber?
like there was a song that I want to say it was I can't remember exactly how it started, and I had done my research on this, that somebody was featured on Somebody Said Something, and then there was another song where J. Cole, who is another, he basically said that there was the big three, J. Cole, Drake, and Kendrick, and he said this on the song. People were like, who's the big three, J. Cole, Kendrick, or me? Or Drake, Kendrick, J. Cole, whatever it was. And Kendrick said in another song that there's no, like, fuck the big three, it's the big me. So he said that there's no competition, that he's the best rapper out. Drake said something, he fired back with a song, and then Kendrick came back with a song that called him a pedophile and this and that.
Kendrick came back with like 4 songs. didn't he?
Kendrick came back with this whole thing and, like, basically just called Drake a child predator, and he's a pedophile because I guess years ago he was texting Millie Bobby Brown, who's the star of Stranger Things, when she was underage, and like she said that he was giving her all these tips, and that's where the pedophile stuff came from. So really, I don't think he's an actual pedophile. Maybe he is, but that's kind of what
Has he ever visited Epstein Island by chance?
probably. But yeah, basically it was who's the best rapper
Okay.
alive.
I always wondered what it was
Yeah.
about, and I didn't I didn't care enough to, I guess, dig into it.
Yeah.
The other thing I didn't realize is, now granted, Kendrick is obviously put together physical-wise. I never realized he was so small in stature.
5'5".
5'5".
Oh, is that how?
5'5".
Like, he looked tiny.
Yeah.
Like that's the part that actually was my
Yep.
biggest takeaway.
Yeah.
That I'm like, damn, that dude's tiny.
It was 2009. Steelers Cardinals 2009.
Oh, so we won 06 and 08 then. 2006.
It was
2008.
2009, 2006.
Also, what-
against the against the Seahawks,
wow.
and then 2009 against the Cardinals. That was at Raymond James in Tampa. I didn't know that. I thought that was in.
Wait, so Jarrett, if we won in 2005 and 2009, that means we won the 2004 season and the 2008 season. Is that how that works?
Yes.
yes,
Because the Super Bowl's
technically,
in the
Technically.
the next
Okay,
next
okay.
year.
So what do you guys?
I guess you'd be right. The 2008 to 9 season.
2008.
Yeah.
What's your guys' thoughts on Valentine's Day?
We talked about this on
Did
the.
you?
We talked about this on the radio.
man.
Did
I
you?
think it was today or Monday. Jubb has an interesting stance.
I
on
would love to. I would
Valentine's
love to
Day.
hear your stance.
Well, I mean,
Jumper.
it's not really an interesting stance, but I told him on the radio. I'm really thankful that Hannah's not a big Valentine's Day person. It's not. We agreed this year that we're not spending money other than a meal, and we're not
Good.
we're not splashing out
Good.
on each other because we just celebrated. Her birthday was in October. Christmas, obviously, and then something else. I can't remember what we were doing. But anyway, we don't spend money. We're not spending money this year, and she thinks it's stupid that you spend money for one day when, we're with each other 364 more days. It's pointless to spend money on stuff that, it's not important. So I'm thankful for that reason. And, yeah, so nothing really interesting other than that take. But, yeah, we're just going to have a meal and not spend money on stupid stuff. And
Are you going somewhere or are you cooking?
No, we were going to go. She got me these dice for the only argument we've ever had that has been real is over food and where to eat and why. And because I'm very indecisive. I'm not that I'm indecisive. I'm a bigger guy, so I'll eat literally anything. I don't care where it's from, what it is. I will eat anything.
It makes me so mad because it happens every time before the show. Usually I'll run up to 7-Eleven and my dad will say, give me a Diet Coke and some combos. And I'll be like, what do you want, Jubb? By the way, Jubb turned into a monkey. If you're watching this, he's not in his seat regular, but he was replaced by a monkey. But I'll go, what do you want? Well, just grab me this and then that. He says these stupid fucking words. What'd you say today? You said get me something and a bag of crabs. So I said, what's that? And he won't say anything. So
I love being surprised by things. I love not choosing and being surprised because I like a lot of stuff.
Okay.
He says that I get mad at him for bringing me things, but I'm not mad. I don't get mad. I will rarely ever dislike what people get me to eat or drink because I don't care. I like to eat everything. So one day I think I was at a restaurant and I couldn't. Oh, it was Ellen Jack's.
Okay.
And I'd never had thought to do this before, and I do it now if I'm in a new restaurant.
Oh, yeah, you mix and match.
I'll say the Cuban sandwich and the Philly cheesesteak. I don't know which one to get, so just surprise me with one of them. So then they'll go back and pick one, and then they bring me out one or the other.
Oh, that's actually kind of a cool concept.
Yeah. So now I have a really hard time picking stuff, but I'll eat anything. I will eat anything that you put in front of me because I just love food. So Hannah and I, the only other argument we've ever legitimately had is based off of me being indecisive and me not caring and her being indecisive. So she bought me these dice for Christmas, and they have I can't remember what it has on it, but it's like where to eat and then what kind of food. Ooh. So it's like eat in, cook inside, grocery store, fast food, sit down. And then on the other one, it's like Mexican, Chinese, Italian, and then you roll the dice, and that's what you eat for the day.
Are you doing that next
So that's
Friday?
what we're doing for Valentine's Day is rolling the dice, and then we go. And
what are you hoping it
it
lands on?
I don't know. I mean, if it... Not a knock on her, but I would probably cook if it came on to cooking in because I like to cook. I enjoy cooking. So if it's cooking inside, I hope it's American food because then I can make smash burgers or something.
Yeah.
If it's Italian, that's the only thing I will be a little disappointed.
Do you not
about
like to cook Italian?
I don't like it. I don't really like Italian. I say that, but I will eat a plate of spaghetti and meatballs
When it's 90 degrees outside.
yeah.
That's unbelievable.
But I don't really care. I hope it's Chinese.
Here's the only negative for you with this whole situation, because I do think the concept's awesome, but you do understand the concept that it is fucking Valentine's Day and you're playing with fire, that the fact of the matter, whatever you roll, and if you got to go eat somewhere that you may be waiting for.
Yeah, Jeff, you're right. Jeff, you're right.
That's right.
That's a
We might have to go early right after the show.
Yeah, I don't think it's really, I mean, honestly, if we sat inside and just like sat on the couch and ate ramen, we'd probably be cool with that.
Yeah.
Which is super cool.
But
It
it's
says a
just-
lot about your relationship,
yeah,
though, which
and
is super cool.
I
too.
know, and I don't know. I know that I kind of feel bad. My biggest thing was I told her, I don't want your friends being like, hey, what did he get you for Valentine's Day? And she's like, oh, nothing. I don't want to look like a dickhead because I didn't get her anything. Well, I'm not going to get her anything. Well, I don't know about that. I might get her something, a small thing. I got her $1. I got her a what are they called? What do they put? You put in the bathtub. Rubber duckies. I got her $1 rubber ducky from Target. It was like pink and had a heart on it and like a
See,
Stanley
that's
cup.
awesome.
Yeah, right?
You don't
But,
need
like,
a $5,000 watch.
I think I
like-
told Cooley that too. I was like, if you for Valentine's Day, just get something that like actually is meaningful.
Yes, 100%.
Rather than spending $1,000 on a
I wish
necklace.
he was here right now. I wish Coles was here right now because I feel like he's the type of guy. I feel like he's stressing about Valentine's Day right now.
Yeah.
But it's different
No.
for him though because it's his birthday.
Yes.
His birthday is on Friday. It's Valentine's
Oh,
Day.
Yeah.
okay.
So maybe it's like he has to treat her, but
It's
she
really
also
for-
has to
yeah,
treat
that's
him.
a good point.
What's your
So-
wifey expect on
I was gonna
Valentine's
say
Nothing.
you're the
Yeah,
long
say
season.
Nothing. I'll be
Will
honest.
you do anything?
Probably not. Actually, no, because my buddy's coming in for Virginia, and I think we're gonna go out on Friday night.
Oh, cool. Well, that's something.
Well, it is something. But no, we've never. No, don't be wrong. I think when you are in your infancy stage of a relationship, do I think it's probably a little bit more relevant?
Definitely.
I do. But I do. I agree with if everybody's in agreement. I think it's a horrible day. I'm a big believer in treating your loved one the same way
Yes.
all year long to hype it up. I do think it's a money grab. I put it this way: I would really struggle that if I was settling down with a woman that it meant that much to her.
Yeah.
It would probably
Yeah,
be a
see,
huge. It would be a huge turnoff.
That's a red
Yeah.
flag, I think. Like if you didn't do like a rose petals and chocolates and like candlelit dinner and all this, and she's mad about that. That's probably
like Jub.
it's probably
Like,
a problem.
I
would
got
think
Sammy
so.
like a little bear and like an energy drink. And it
Yeah,
said,
what are
like,
you
Be
doing?
mine.
Yeah.
It's like $5, and
Yeah.
they love like that's so. That's
well, you
so nice.
you sent a text the other day and you said don't forget to.
Ask your girl to be your Valentine.
Then you
know
said
what I
they
mean? Like
love
you don't
that,
need,
which-
you don't need to go get like a you don't need to go get her a new Mercedes. Like just ask her somehow nice and be like, "Will you be my Valentine on Friday?" You know what I mean? Like you don't have
After
to.
all, you know that's
You don't have to go like Jub, like you said.
Are you gonna ask Cheryl if she'll be your Valentine?
Be my Valentine. Please.
Yeah.
Pretty
You
please.
know what I mean?
Did you? Oh, here's a question.
should I? Oh, yeah,
I
go
gotta
ahead.
do work, but I'm gonna talk anyway.
I gotta do work.
We got a
Uh,
little bit left.
So, when you were in school, Jeff, did you have to do the Valentine's Day cards?
Oh,
Did
yeah.
you do that?
Oh,
my
yeah.
goodness.
So, were you required, and probably not, because our, the school system, it's pretty changed since when you were in school. Did you have to, if you gave a Valentine's to somebody in class, did you have to give them to everybody in the class?
I don't vividly remember, but we went to a Catholic school, so I'm gonna vote yes.
Assuming, yeah.
Yes, I would assume yes.
So-
Do you think so, Sue?
Well, it's funny you say that because when we got older, they didn't require it. Like you could
You're
make
right.
the boxes, but when you were like kindergarten, first grade, second grade, you had to make one for everyone. But like the third, fourth, and fifth grade, that's when stuff got a little dicey because,
Oh, really?
dude, like everyone makes a box, but I only have like 5 in mine, and someone over there's got 20. Like,
Oh, no. You had your box was
jump. I'm being serious. Like,
soup.
Jub,
Your
I'm being
box
serious.
was probably overflowing.
No, it wasn't because like you would make a couple maybe funny ones for your guy friends, but then you would make a Valentine's card for the girl that you thought.
Yeah, did you
liked.
did you make one for like a girl? You
Oh, I'm
thought,
sure.
like-
I'm sure I did.
Did you write a little something special?
I'm sure, and I never signed it. I don't want them to know it was from me.
Oh.
Did you have to make like a box? Did you guys make
we
a
did
box?
Easter and Valentine's, I think.
Yeah, that's a crazy memory. I forgot
Yeah.
about that. I remember we had to make you had to like customize your box and you like wanted to make it real cool.
Yep.
And you slip the little thing in.
Yeah.
Mine was
that's great.
mine was
I
a
think,
lion one year.
I think we always I think that we always had to
Always had to do everybody.
do everybody.
And if
I
you-
don't remember when we stopped. I think it was maybe
Fifth
till
grade.
5th grade.
Yeah, what you had to do
What
it
a
for
crazy
everybody.
concept.
Yeah, you had to do
right.
it for everybody in the class, and then if you wanted to do it for one person in another class, you had to do it for that whole class.
Wow.
So I remember my mom and I hated doing it. I hated writing them, and you'd have to write every one of them because I wasn't going to make my mom do them, and I don't think she wanted to do them anyway because she would help us with the box. I remember so vividly sitting at the third seat on our kitchen counter writing Valentine's Day, and I was so over it, and I would just ask, how many more, Mom? How many more, Mom? Who's next? How many more, Mom? And then finally we get to the end, and I'd be so pissed by the end of it that I didn't even want to do it in school. But then you get into school, and you would be looking through your Valentine's Day, and you'd be wondering if you get one from somebody you like. And then I would get one from like a girl I didn't like, and she'd be all like lovey-dovey, and I'd be, I don't want
That's
that
so.
one.
Now that I'm thinking about that, that is such a wild thing that we
Yeah,
did.
it
Do they
is.
still do that?
I think
I
they
don't
do.
know.
I think it's a production now.
Did we
Like
do
now
it
it's
for-
like box, like who can make the best box and
Yeah.
all that shit.
Was it multiple holidays or just Valentine's Day?
I thought it was just
I think just
Day.
Valentine's
What
Day.
would have
I
been
thought
the
it was-
Easter for, though?
I don't know. For some reason, I thought we had to do it for both, but maybe it was just Valentine's.
That I completely forgot about that. That was a thing.
And actually now I feel bad for your parents because they had
I
to do
know.
2 boxes.
I know.
I mean, that would have been brutal.
When I get home, I'm going to ask my mom about that, how that went.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
They probably wanted
yeah.
to take a pen in their eye.
Oh,
but
you
it
know,
was
my dad
Valentine's Day.
my dad wasn't involved. He wasn't involved in
He was
that.
at the vets club.
Oh,
Real quick before we wrap up, has Luke got to do a varsity basketball game?
He has. Yes.
Dude, already?
Yeah. Actually.
That's big time,
He
right?
actually, you know what? You'll appreciate this. He did a JV Shady Side Girls the other night. And he had to kick out a grandma.
Shut up.
Well, no way.
Shut up. From the stands?
From the stands.
Was she barking at him?
The whole game. And I guess, and even like his partner was probably more involved with it, more the jawing end. And he kind of was like, you know what, that's enough, and this and that, and finally tossed her. And I guess she came out on the court and went nose to nose with him.
Oh, my
see, that should never happen. That should
Never.
never
A
happen.
grandma,
Grandma.
old.
I think I actually asked that. Yeah, I think it was either late 60s, early 70s. But I guess it was from the start of the game. I said, well, when did you actually toss her? It was like mid-4th quarter, kept on warning, this and that. And I always, as the dad, and it's none of my business. It's his job. It's none of my business. But I also don't want him to be known as the 19-year-old punk.
Yeah.
The guy's like
Yeah,
throws
yeah.
people
Throws
out.
people out. ADs came up to him afterwards. His
Were they telling him good job and thanking
partner
him?
in crime. I think he got feedback from people that heard about the situation.
Yeah.
So it was all appropriate. But once again, being the dad, and you guys will
Hey.
experience that, you just don't.
How do you think he does, unbiased?
Actually, I will tell you, when he first started, and obviously this is only year 2.
Yeah.
I went and watched more games last year. It's just been a little bit.
Wait,
busy
he's gotten
with-
to do varsity and it's only his second year? That's unbelievable, but go ahead.
So last year I critiqued him a lot because I think he fell in that 18-year-old laziness. Like there was some moments, just like any other, like another sport, like you have your great moments, and then there was times I'm like, hey dude, you need to make sure when you're getting down the court, you need to make sure you're turning around so you can see the whole action. I would critique him. I'm not gonna lie, like the last game that I went to, I'll bust his balls all day long, but actually pretty damn good.
That's awesome.
He enjoys it, doesn't he?
When I tell you he loves it, like and as you know, he's a baseball kid. He actually, I don't even
It's
think he wants to.
addicting.
Yes, I don't think he think he wants to umpire baseball. Like he is true, and he really, if it wasn't for his career choice school wise, like I seriously think that
Dude,
he
he
wants
can
to
do
climb the
both.
ladder.
He can do
That's
both.
awesome.
But like I told him, the only negative, Soup, 2 things. You can't count on it because there's no way that it's a guarantee that you're going Division I
No.
basketball, number one. And number 2, I said, unfortunately, dude, you chose a profession that, I mean, nursing, like, your schedules are so flipped
Yeah.
upside down that you're not guaranteed to have a night off to go travel 3
Yeah,
hours
exactly.
away. So I don't know, but it is.
He
on
should
his,
keep it doing-
It's
keep
on his
doing it.
radar. Like if he can make it Division I, like it's definitely
What
he
if
loves
Good for
it.
him, man.
Now, what happened? All right, here we go. Question for you as a father. He let's say what is he? A sophomore? So let's say into his senior year, he's probably going to be there longer than 4 years if he's doing what he's doing.
I hope
right?
not. He shouldn't. I mean, unless if he fucks up.
Because never mind. Why am I thinking he's going to be a fucking surgeon? He's going to be in nursing, right? Okay, so let's just say he goes 5. He's going to go like 5.5 years,
Okay.
and in the 4th year, his senior year, he's going to be here one more year to graduate with whatever he wants to be. But in the 4th year, he's been doing refereeing for 4 years, and somebody comes to him and says, "Hey, we're interested in you climbing the ladder. We want you to referee for give me a D1 school. Give me somebody." Duke. All right, we want you to
I was
come
gonna
to
say St. John's.
come to Duke and referee for us. But you got to make a choice. It's either you continue your career because you're gonna have to commit more time. Do you let him go referee D1 basketball, or do you want him to stay and finish his career in nursing?
Probably not a fair question, and here's the reason why. Because I think at the end of the day, if you have that opportunity, because that's probably not a real scenario, that's number one, because you got to climb the ladder to get to D1. That's number one. But number 2, if I'm living in a fantasy world, you can always go back and get your degree.
Yeah.
That's the way. Like, granted,
Wow, facts.
yeah. So at the end of the day, like if he had that opportunity and somebody was giving him the golden parachute to go referee Division I to get his feet wet to see if he's going to be possible. If he fucks up in a year and he's only got a year left of school, he can always go back to school.
Yeah.
Are people in his ear telling him how, like, because this is what I did it for 3 years, and it's true. Are they in his ear yet about like how good it is that he's young? That's like a massive thing.
I'm gonna sound like, and I hate it because I don't. You know how I feel.
Yeah.
You know how I feel about this shit. But to answer your question, Soup, yes. There's
They gotta love him.
There's expectations. They're everybody, and this is so vain what I'm about to say, and I think you could probably attest to this. There is a look that they're looking for.
Yeah, and he fits the bill.
He fits the bill. He looks good in the uniform.
Yeah,
he's
he
put
does.
together.
And he's professional. He's smart.
And he knows how to handle the adversity. He does have all the quote unquote qualities that they think that would be the shell of a referee.
I got a funny story about Luke, and then we'll wrap up. A good friend of mine. I'm not going to say names because Luke doesn't even know this.
Do we know him?
Yes, you guys will know him. I'll say it after the game. Somebody that's very close to us was coaching a basketball game, and this is Luke's like first, I think, 2 months of doing it.
Okay.
He either had summer ball or was doing an all-star game. I don't know what the exact situation was. I get a call after the game about someone that was coaching a basketball game. They were walking us through the game. They said it came down to the wire. Someone won by like 2 points. They said there was this ref, man, young kid, like missed a couple calls, and I was in his ear about it. And I was like, oh, okay. I don't know it's Luke yet. The person keeps going, talking about the game. They said he missed another call in the third quarter. I gave it to him a little bit and said, just don't miss that same call again. They said fourth quarter he makes the same call, and this coach was out on the floor asking for a technical, and Luke was ignoring him. That's awesome.
That's great.
Just the coach was just giving it to Luke, and Luke was acting like he's not even there.
That's great.
That is good stuff.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
They take a lot of shit, man. I tell you what, they do.
They probably get the most, I would say.
Yeah,
They do. They
Of
take a lot of shit.
any, I mean, umpires get it. I'd say frequent, but I think basketball is the worst because calls can go either way so often. I feel like because I mean a block, a charge, and then
you're right there.
Goaltending,
Right
all
there.
this that.
There's no fence. There's no.
I tell you what, he did and we'll talk off air about this, but he did a couple weeks ago. 8th grader called him a bitch.
Cool.
So he was tossed. And then we'll talk about the coach after the.
That's
thing.
unbelievable.
Jeff, I mean, I umpired for maybe 6 months. I did fall ball. I'll never do it again. I will never ever. I won't umpire. I won't referee. Because I'm a guy that I like when everybody's happy, and I like when everybody's kosher and everything is good. And I try. And as an umpire, you try to do the best you can. I mean, you're making judgment calls based on the best you can, and that ain't enough for people. And it ain't for me. Hats off to Luke.
Yeah, he's going to do great. Dude, that's the other thing, too, with like his career as a nurse. He might be able to graduate as a nurse, go sell farm or med equipment and nurse on the side. And referee on the side. Like if he's already moved up to college at 22 or something. But
my biggest wish is I know, and you have a stressful job. The wife and I have a stressful job. I don't want that for him.
No.
Like if he could go and have a nice life and make a good living and it's quote unquote stress free, that's what I wish for him. He's choosing a profession, unfortunately, that is not going to allow him to do that.
I was going to say.
But at the end of the day, we've done all the talking. He's hell bent. I still don't think at the end of the day, and I mean this respectfully because I love the dude to death, I still don't think he's a nurse. I really don't.
Well, it's funny.
I really don't. And it's not because he's not smart enough. I just don't. There is a certain type of person, and I'm sure your cousin can attest to this. There's a certain type of individual that you have to be able to take care of somebody. And I'm just not 100% sure.
that's the most Doyle thing ever, though. Him to go 4 years of nursing and then be like, wow, this kid got a nursing degree. You know what? He is a fit for a D2 ref right now. Let's give him a chance at 22 years old.
That would be
that's the most Doyle thing ever.
This is I've known Luke for a while now, and I've got, I would say, before he went to college, I'd say we got pretty close as friends. Luke doesn't come off to me as somebody with a very good bedside manner.
You're right, Job.
Like I can see him if somebody's got a problem, he's like, all right.
You know what he does come across? Being able to sell ortho equipment in the surgery room.
That's what I'm thinking too.
I could see him as a good salesman.
Dude,
I could see him as a hell of a good salesman.
Hopefully, whatever he does, just get it the fuck off my payroll.
And
that's all I'm looking for.
He's a good dude.
He's a
good dude.
I think that goes more than anything that we've said here. Is he's a solid dude.
And we have Vegas in 18 months.
We got to get him on a plane.
He doesn't like to fly?
I'll be honest with you.
Really?
I've not, he is.
Wow.
I don't know if we're going to Vegas because
Wow.
I tell you what, like all this
What?
plane, all
Recent
this
news,
plane shit right
Well,
now.
hopefully by
Oh,
then
yeah.
they get it figured
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, honestly, but yeah, that's yeah.
Has
that's
he
the
ever
truth.
flown before?
No, because everywhere
Holy moly.
everywhere we
Oh, boy.
went
Yeah,
on
it's
vacation
drivable.
can drive. So
Hannah's the same way.
yeah, and I don't know if I'm getting on my dude on a plane. I may have to knock him out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knock him out.
Like
Hey,
carry him on.
you know some people get drugs.
100%, right? Yeah.
Put a bag on his head. Yeah.
All right, I got to pee.
Yeah, so do I. I got to
All
pee
right,
really bad.
Jeff, I'm so glad you're back
Honestly,
here.
it's good to see you guys.
Yeah, this is
So-
awesome.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
I guess since I opened it,
Wrap her up.
wrap her up, party people. All right, honestly, for episode 147,
Boom.
correct?
Correct.
Brian Soup Campbell, Jarrett Delbrook, and Jub Delbrook. Thank you for listening. Thanks for everybody's support. We appreciate the shit out of you. And until the next time, the Pine Room Studios.
Peace.
See you guys.